Alright guys, so here's the review of the Bliger Rolex Explorer Homage. So you might think you've seen this one before, but I don't think anyone else has reviewed this one just yet. This is actually the 36mm version. So I picked this up during the AliExpress sale. I briefly showed it in another video where I was showing a watch roll that I'd got, also in the sale. I'll leave a link to that down in the description if you want to check that one out. But this is the full review. So the question is it worth getting over the other one? Is it actually 36mm? And is it any good? Let's get down to it and find out. So here it is. As with most Bligers, it doesn't come in an actual box. It comes in like a polystyrene packet thing, but well protected, so you don't have to worry about it getting damaged. Now right off the bat, obviously you can see this is the sterile version. They also do a branded one as well with the Bliger branding on. And I think the Bliger branding also has the water resistance mark at the bottom or something, or it says automatic or something like that. But with this one, it's completely unbranded, so nothing on the dial, nothing on the crown, nothing on the case back, and nothing on the clasp either. So completely sterile. But I actually think with this watch, it actually suits it quite well. Let me know what you think down in the comments, whether you'd go for this one or the branded one. So it's a pretty simple case design on this one. Let's, in fact, give it a quick wipe. It's quite warm here at the moment in the UK, so fingerprints on this one are going to be even more of an issue than usual because it is a fully polished case and it is rather hot, so I'm a little bit sweaty, so I'll try not to touch this too much. So there we go, like I said, fully polished case on the sides and on the top, and it is done well, nicely finished. I've actually scuffed this a little bit, but I could probably polish that out, I reckon. Just haven't done it yet. Give it a quick wipe so you can see a bit better again. So it is really fine marks, but that's something you need to be aware of with it being polished. It will scratch a little bit easier. I guess you could always brush it out if you really wanted to, because the bracelet is actually fully brushed, apart from the sides. So again, they're polished, so that matches in with the side of the case. And then the same with the clasp. That is also polished on the side, but brushed on the top. And it is nicely done. So I do really like these clasps as well. So this is actually a glide lock style clasp. So it's milled, but then we've got that on the fly adjustment. So just pop it out like that, slide it across, and it does work really well. Easy to get the perfect size and fit. And then we've got screw links on that too, which for the price of this is pretty nice. Solid end links too, and then a screw down case back. So with most Bligers, they don't really claim that much water resistance. So with this one, I think they say it's 30, but I think they say that with pretty much all their watches. We've actually got a screw down crown too, so I think the water resistance, you'd probably be alright with it. Don't know whether there's a gasket in there or not, but with it being screw down case back, I think you're probably going to be alright if you're using it getting slightly wet. Probably don't use it swimming. You could risk it, but I personally wouldn't. So seeing as we've got the crown out, let's talk about the movements in this. So there's three options with this one. Cheapest being a Mingzhu 2813, so that's a Chinese movement. Then they also have a NH35, which is obviously a Seiko Japanese movement. And then they have a Miyota 8215, which is also a Japanese movement. So the one I've got is the NH35. I personally think that is the best one of the three, although the Miyota is actually the more expensive of the three. Personally, I'm not a fan of the 8000 series Miyotas. I think the rotor noise is far too loud. That's not an issue with the NH35, so I think it's the best of the bunch. So you get the usual, you got the hand winding, you've also got hacking, but with it being an NH35 you probably heard that click twice, so we've actually got a ghost date position, but that's not too big a deal. That doesn't bother me too much, given the price of the watch. And then obviously we can change the time, pop it back in, second hand re-engages, and then screw it back down. So let's quickly test out now whether we've got sapphire crystal on this. Using the trusty Diamond Selector 2. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal. So that's always good to see, especially at this price. You don't always get that. But then Bligers do tend to be pretty nice specs for the price. That is pretty much what they do. Try and get the best possible specs at the cheapest possible price. Sometimes the QC can be a little bit hit and miss, but with this one so far, I've not had any issues. And with the majority of Bligers I've had a fairly decent hit rate. I've had a couple of issues here and there, but on the whole, not too bad given the price. So pretty much forgivable. And because they're so cheap, you can either swap them, replace them, fix them, up to you. So now, let's get on to the important thing with this watch, and that's the measurements. So we'll start with the thickness. So we've got 11.8mm thick, 20mm lug width. Now the diameter, obviously the important one, well, one of the important ones for this. So they say it's 36, but as you can see, I get it to 37. So, not exactly what it's claiming. And then with the lug to lug, we've got 45.4, which is really nice, but we have actually got male end links on this. So the effective lug to lug is 50.4, which isn't great. So if you're getting this watch pretty much for that smaller size, the 36mm, you may want to change the bracelet on this. Possibly put it on a strap or try and find another bracelet or fit that doesn't have male end links as female ones instead. Because that is a little bit annoying, not gonna lie. Because the whole point of this watch is that you want a smaller watch. But with that effective lug to lug, it's not really that small anymore. So, now that's out the way, let's quickly test out the loom, see what that's like. So we've got a little bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. So normally, with Bligers, this is one of the weak points. As is with most cheaper watches, they tend to skimp on the loom. That's one of the first things to go. So let's see what this one's like. So, it's okay, not bad initially. But as you can see already, the indices, well the numbers especially, are starting to fade already. And so are the hands. So, as with most Bligers, the loom on this watch isn't great. Not really all that usable. It's pretty much there, but that's about it. So all it's left to do now is show you what it's like on wrist. So this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. So it still wears quite nicely. Not as small as you'd expect, with it being a 36mm though, or 37 should I say, from what I'm measuring. But it still wears nicely. Just a little larger than you'd think. So if you're after a really small watch, obviously this probably isn't the one for you. Unless, like I say, you do put it on another strap, as opposed to this bracelet. Because of those male end links, it does wear a little bit larger. But this clasp, this does come in really handy, especially with this kind of weather. So when your wrist swells up, you can adjust it on the fly, which is always really good to have. And once you've tried one of these, it's always a bit annoying going back to another watch that doesn't have it. So I do really like that. As always, if you want to pick one of these up, link will be down in the description. It's an affiliate link, helps support the channel, but doesn't cost you any more. But that's it for this one guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.